Hi there, this is Ranjit from tech2bas.com, and in this video we're going to do the full review for this Nokia Lumia 520. I've already done the unboxing of this phone, so you can check out that video for more info. And this is a budget oriented Windows Phone 8 from Nokia, and at the time of shooting this video has to be one of the most affordable Windows Phone 8, and it comes with some really decent specs for the price point. In India you can get this phone for around 10,000 to 10,500, and let me start with some of the specs. It sports a 1 GHz dual core processor, and it has 512 MB of RAM, and also it has a dedicated GPU, that's a Adreno 305, and it runs on the Windows Phone 8 OS. Again, in my day-to-day testing with this phone, and I tested this phone for almost 3 weeks now, and I have to say the phone is really fluid to operate, and I rarely faced any issues of lag. Yes, I did see some lags, and that was at times occasionally with the keyboard that we got. For example, the on-screen keyboard sometimes just tends to lag, but for most of the part I would say the phone is extremely fluid to operate, so you shouldn't have a problem with the same. And also the screen size on this is a 4-inch screen, and the screen quality I would say is pretty decent. But if you start comparing it with the Lumia 620, I would definitely say that the Lumia 620 screen is much more superior than this. Some of the things that I do not like about the screen is that it does not have any olophobic coating, so within 30 minutes of usage the phone gets really smudgy to operate. And also I noticed that outdoors the screen legibility is not as good as Lumia 620. Also, it does not have the clear black coating that the Nokia 620 has. So I would say the screen quality is pretty good for the price, but is not as good as Nokia Lumia 620. Again, you can just swipe this, and here are all the apps and the settings, and you go to the settings. By default, the internal storage that you get with this phone is 8 GB, and out of that the storage that you get available is just 4.5 GB. Let me show you the same now. And I did install some of the apps in game, so as you can see, the storage is now 3.4 GB, but you can also add a micro SD card up to 64 GB. But do note that you cannot move the apps from the phone storage to the SD card under Windows Phone. So I would say the storage is decent enough, and again, if you are an app junkie, then you might have a problem, but for normal users I think so you can move your photos, videos, etc. on the SD card, and thus the storage should be enough. Again, Windows Phone 8, everything is notified by this live tiles. For example, as you can see, I just got an email, and this Google email was 0, it became 1. And if you can just click, you can access the emails. For example, you can just click and you can. And in general usage, as you can see, the phone is very responsive, and again, as with all Windows Phone 8, it's very fluid to operate. Coming to the battery, again, here I'm not that impressed. The battery is just kind of average, I would say, and you have to charge it every day. It's not like other Nokia phones where you can use the phone for almost 2 days. You have to charge the battery almost every day, and as you can see, and this is light usage, and it was consuming around 5% of the battery per hour. So I had to charge the phone every day. Coming to the camera on this is a 5 megapixel shooter, and as this is a budget oriented phone, we do not have LED flash, but I have to say the camera on this is pretty good, and in low lighting conditions I would say the performance is even better than the Lumia 620. I have actually done an in-depth review regarding the camera, so you can check out this video for more info. But again, in very low lighting conditions, as we do not have LED flash, it's simply unusable. But for the most part, I would say it's a very decent 5 megapixel camera. Another thing is that you do not get any front facing camera with this Nokia Lumia 520. So again, you can't do Skype calls. It's not like that the Skype does not work. Skype will work, but again, it does not have a front facing camera. And by default, the browser that you get is Internet Explorer. And as you can see, I'm just going to go to our website, that's tech2bas.com. And let it load. Actually, the website loads actually very quickly on this one. And as you can see, the pinch to zoom gesture, etc. is also very responsive. So in terms of browsing, it was a decent experience, I would say. And also I tried a third-party web browser, for example, the UC browser. And this is also decent. And this offers a little bit more functionality than the default IE browser. For example, the IE browser does not allow you to download a lot of stuff. But if you want to do stuff like that, you can use this UC browser. Now coming to apps, again, most of the popular apps are there. For example, as you can see, WhatsApp is there. And also if you're going to buy this phone, I would suggest that use this wrap dialer instead of the default dialer, because the default dialer, I would say, is very crippled. Also, we do get this Office with every Windows phone, and that's the same with this. So you can easily open Office documents and edit the same, and even complicated documents open pretty fast on this. So that's a nice thing, I would say. Now coming to gaming, here I would say, as this phone has just 512 MB of RAM, a lot of games actually don't work. For example, Asphalt 7 actually did work for some time, but again the developer tweaked it back and now it does not download. It requires RAM of 1 GB. So, and even for example, Temple Run does not run on this one because it requires 1 GB of RAM. And again, if you're a big gamer, I would say stick to an Android phone, because the selection of games that you get on an Android device is definitely a lot more compared to Windows phone. But yes, you do get casual games like Angry Birds, Fruit Ninja, and I would say the collection of games is increasing now. It's a lot better compared to what Windows phone had last year. But again, it's nowhere near Android or iOS. Another good thing with this phone is that it has this Nokia Maps and Here Drive, and you can also do offline navigation with that. I have made a dedicated video regarding that, so you can check out that. Another thing that I did notice is that while doing gaming for about 30 minutes or so, this portion does tend to become actually pretty hot. So that's one thing. I did not face that in Nokia Lumia 620. Yes, it also became warm, but this certainly, the Lumia 520 became a lot more hot. And again, as you can see, we do get this dedicated button for the camera. And let me just quickly take a shot. You can check out the dedicated video that I made. But overall, I would say the camera performance is actually pretty decent for this one. I was not expecting this decent performance. And let's go to the photos. Let's go to the camera roll. And again, this was also the photo that I took in artificial light. And as you can see, it does have pretty good amount of detail. And this is the one that we took just now. One little con that I did notice is that if you notice the cellular signal here, I'm not getting a full signal, and this is peculiar because I generally get full signal, and I tried it with two different cellular providers, and I'm not getting a full signal. It is very patchy. Sometimes it's going to full, and most of the time it's just going back. And this is a little bit peculiar. I don't know if my handset is faulty, but I did notice this. The voice calls were very clear, but during my testing of 10 days, I got 2 dropped calls. And again, this signal issue worries me because I've tested over 50 phones, and generally where I test the phones in this location, I get full signal. But on this device, particularly the Lumia 520, I was not getting a full signal. I didn't have this problem with the Lumia 620. But again, in terms of voice quality, the voice calls were very good. Now, some of the things that Nokia has skimped on this, for example, in the audio department, we do not get the Dolby enhancement. Also, some people ask me if we have FM radio. As of now, FM radio is not enabled, but this Nokia Lumia 520 has the FM hardware. So if Windows Phone OS enables that, it should start working. But as of now, it is not there. Also, one more thing that I did notice is that this 520 does not have the compass functionality. So Nokia City Lens simply does not work on this. And also I did quite a bit of testing with this Here Drive, that's car navigation, and for the most part it works great. But sometimes when we are just maneuvering in complicated streets where there are a lot of turns, I noticed that due to the lack of compass, sometimes the on-screen directions take about 8 to 10 seconds to update correctly. This was not the case with the Nokia Lumia 620. So I just wanted you guys to let you know about that. Now coming to some of the specific issues I have with Windows Phone 8, I'm not going to repeat it again. In my Nokia Lumia 620 video, I had mentioned about them. Those issues still cripple this phone also. So you can check out that video. Those are some of the minor shortcomings as of now with Windows Phone 8. So they also apply to this Nokia Lumia 520. So what do I feel about this Nokia Lumia 520? I would say it's a very decent device and it does pack a lot of things for the budget price. Again, I would say you can't get such a feature packed device from a Tier 1 manufacturer as of now, and it offers decent specs. What I don't like is the outdoor readability is particularly weak, and also Nokia should have put a off. For example, I'm just testing this phone for about 15-20 minutes, and as you can see how smudgy it becomes. It becomes smudgy very fast. Again, I would say it's a great device if you're on a very tight budget. In my testing for about 3 weeks, the phone ran fine. Battery life, as I said, is nothing spectacular. It should last you 1 working day without any issues. So overall, I would say it's a great device, but if you can up your budget slightly, I would certainly say that have a serious look at the Lumia 620. It's a much better device. I hope you found this video review helpful. That's it for now. This is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and I hope to see you in my next video.